morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Gautier, Mississippi. Today's verse is Titus 2:11. For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation to all men. Well, this is a very short verse, but this is really an encapsulation of the gospel message. So that's what I'm going to go through is basically Christianity 101. What is it to become a Christian, and how does the whole process work of salvation, that is? It says, for the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation to all men. Well, does that mean all men are saved? Well, no. There needs to be a response. So you mean you have to earn your salvation? No. I'm not saying that either. It is the grace of God, which means the free gift that we cannot earn. Therefore, we cannot do anything to earn or merit or get salvation. Well, what does that mean? That God somehow just gives salvation to some people? No, that's fatalism. Basically, there's a free gift that is offered to all men, but not all men receive it. There has to be a response on our part, not an earning on our part, but a response. Essentially, we have to be willing to empty our souls of all of our human loves. And once we become empty vessels, then he could come in and fill us. That's when we receive salvation. And then there's simply a process of sanctification, a fancy word, basically meaning that we are surrendering everything to him in love. And everything means everything. Our bank account, our diet, our politics, our nationality, our sexuality, our marital status, our hobbies, I mean, you name it, everything to him in love, okay? Now, I like to use a metaphor, and forgive me if you've heard this too many times, but for people just tuning in, I like to use the metaphor of the car, that my life is a car, and I am in the driver's seat. Therefore, I am in control of the car. I'm in control of my life. And I'm driving along, and I see the Holy Spirit down the street waving his arms, trying to get my attention. And if I'm an atheist, I'll just drive right on by. If I'm an agnostic, I might stop and roll down the window just to hear what he has to say and possibly even contemplate it, but otherwise go on my way. But then I might stop, roll down the window, hear what he has to say, that he's got a better plan for my life than I do. And he starts to tell me about this plan. And I start to say, okay, well, let me try that. And I turn the way he tells me to turn and turn the other way, the way he tells me to turn. And I start to obey him. And I think, well, my life is getting better. I guess this makes me a Christian because I'm listening to the Holy Spirit and I am obeying. But no, I'm not a Christian, not yet. Why not? Because I'm still in control of the car. I'm still in control of my life. And that's not how salvation works. What the Holy Spirit really wants is for me to scooch over to the passenger seat, hands off all the controls, allow the Holy Spirit to come and sit in the driver's seat. He gets to control everything, the important things such as the steering wheel and the brake and the gas and the clutch and the gear shifter and the turn signal, all the important stuff, but even the lesser important things, the radio and the air conditioning and everything else in my life, and I am to be hands off. Once I have agreed to have him come in and take control, that's when I'm a Christian. Now the Holy Spirit is in my car and he's in control. Now I could still sin from that position as I reach over to try to wrest the steering wheel from his control and other things. It makes driving much worse every time I interfere with his plans for my life. And so there's a process of learning to be more hands off to allow him to be in full control. We call that sanctification. And once I allow him more and more control of my life, then I start to be empty of my human loves. And I start to think like him. I start to act like him. I start to love like him. And that's when Christianity gets a lot better. It all comes down to love. So let's choose to love every moment, because then we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a great week.